Hey everybody, Anish Majumdar here, career coach to the fiercely ambitious. Thank you for joining me here on what I hope is going to be a really eye-opening video. I want to talk about imposter syndrome, that feeling like you are a fraud, like there's no possible way you're going to carry off what you want to carry off, and specifically as it relates to your career. I want to show you why, far from running from it or avoiding it, I want to show you certainly how common it is, but I also want to show you why you don't need to fear it and how you can use that energy, which feels like such a struggle right now, like such an impediment right now, and how you can just rechannel that energy in a way that really serves you. Now, for starters, I want you to know that if you're feeling this way in any aspect of your career, like I don't care if you're relatively well settled where you are, but the idea of like getting that long delayed like promotion to the managing director level just makes you sweat. I don't care if you're in the midst of a job search and you feel like I've just been beaten up and beaten up and beaten up, and maybe I should just stop trying for what I know I deserve. Maybe I should just, target a little bit lower. The latest stats show that somewhere in the vicinity of 70% plus of the entire American population has felt imposter syndrome one way or the other. I've spent most of my career as a career coach working with senior executives. I can tell you that just anecdotally, it seems to be way higher the more senior level you are. Everyone feels this, even though when we make headway in our careers, some of us get better at hiding it than others. That does not mean that we're not all feeling it. That does not mean that on some level we're not feeling that. And to be totally real with you, I come from a middle-class Bengali family. We never felt like we had enough. And my mom, she was in and out of the mental hospital for most of my growing up. So my life felt like we were hanging on by a thread. There were definitely times when we struggled to pay the light bill. We struggled to have presents there under the Christmas tree. And certainly with my parents warring and fighting sometimes with them out of the courts, there was always the sense of hide your truth, hide who you really are, pretend and put on a face, put on a happy face. I think a big part of the reason why some of us struggle with this feeling of being a fraud is exactly because of the position we were placed early on in our lives, where we had to be the ones who had to, even though you're a kid, you have to bear the burden of being perfect. You have to live up for that. And God help you if you were found out, right? You would be out. And so everyone has felt this. And I still, I'm happily married now. I've got 3 kids. My life could not be more different. But I'd be lying to you if I didn't have feelings where I'd wake up some mornings and I still have that same chip on my shoulder, It's just me out there. No one else cares, and I got to do whatever I got to do. I got to look out for number one, and I'm just trying and over trying and over trying. So that feeling is always there, but I would say that over time I've gotten better at recognizing it, and then over time finding ways to sort of redirect that. So what are some things that you can do, practically speaking, to get yourself out of this mindset that can warp you so badly of, I just don't belong here. I'm out of my depth. The first thing is to understand that there is no such thing as out of your depth. There is no such thing as a job that is a reach for you or a change that is too big for you to make. The longer we spend doing something, and this goes for anything in life, the more tempting it is to look at the frame of that thing and draw a parallel between the frame and our identity. In other words, I've been a career coach now for over 10 years. It's very tempting for me to say, well, being a career coach is intrinsically a part of Anish. It's part of who I am. If you're in IT, if you're in finance, if you're a leader, you get a lot of your self-esteem through that work. It's very natural for you to draw that comparison. That's a problem, and that's a mistake. And here's why. You are not whatever frame you're in right now. You are not whatever frame you're looking to put yourself into tomorrow. You are a creator of frames. You are someone who is much bigger than any one frame, any one circumstance, any one job, any one path, even any one family situation. These are just frames that we can walk in and out of, and we can create and destroy as need be. But you need to start from a place of understanding that whatever you are, the heart and soul of who you are, is so much bigger than whatever your current circumstances are. Maybe it's been a while since someone's told you that. So let me tell you that right now. You need to start this conversation by looking at who you are, your spirit, your potential, your capability, your drive, your hunger. These things go beyond frames. They go beyond circumstances. So understand that it's all arbitrary. Like what you're looking for right now, to you is a reach. To some company, it's not going to be a reach. To someone else, it would be a step too far. To another person, it would be like, yeah, what the hell have you been waiting around for? You should have done that 5 years ago. All frames are arbitrary, but start from the understanding that you are the creator of these frames. Here's the other thing, okay? You can't wait around for belief. Nowadays, I've gotten to a point where when I feel that sense of fear, that imposter syndrome pop up, like, who are you to like chat with some CEO, for 15 or 20 minutes? You're not a CEO. You didn't go to some Ivy League college. I didn't. You didn't get some highfalutin degree. I didn't, right? So who are you to talk about that? When I feel that now, I look at that as a sign that I'm on the right path, because consider this. You may be dealing with imposter syndrome right now, and there might be a part of you that says this is the worst. Like, it could not get any worse than this. But I've had the privilege of being able to see people's careers span out over time. Not just over a course of 5 years or 10 years or 15 years, sometimes 30 or 40 years. And I will tell you, what is infinitely worse than dealing with imposter syndrome is dealing with the sense that I have been so deeply pigeonholed as this that there is nothing else that I can do. And if this goes away, I am screwed and I should just quit. In other words, the imposter syndrome and that feeling is a sign that you're still growing. It's a sign that you're still hungry and restless. It's a sign that you're still questing for more. Those of us who are at the absolute edge of high performance are actually trying to put ourselves into that zone. We're trying to continuously feel like, ooh, our reach just exceeds our grasp. And a clear way to do that is to put yourself into environments and situations where you do feel outclassed. And so it's important to understand that the beliefs are not going to change before the actions do. So don't worry about the beliefs, okay? Don't worry about this feeling, okay? The feeling will go away once you take enough new action, and there's that positive feedback loop that comes in, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to make a best friend out of two phrases, okay? What if and as if. And every time you feel like you are feeling that sense of being a fraud or an imposter, I want you to see if one of those works for the situation. What if? What if I wasn't limited by this? What if I didn't think, making an extra 60, 70, 80 grand in my next role was too much of a reach? What if I got it? How would that make my family look? How would I behave? What kind of freedom would I have? What if I did it? What if is such a powerful phrase to employ in moments of uncertainty like this, because it gets your mind excited about the outcome. It doesn't keep it in a place of fear about what's going to happen immediately. The other thing is called as if, very close, but you're thinking of that as applies to yourself. Why don't I go into that meeting as if I've had this CIO role I'm going for the last 10 years, all right? I'm going to go in as if I've been working that job for 10 plus years. I know the industry, and actually I'm a little bit kind of overqualified for this type of role. How would I deal with this situation? How comfortably would I say hello and make small talk? How easily would I not get triggered by things that have to do with ego or questioning, How easily would I move it forward? As if. I got to think as if I'm that person. And to take that one step further, I will tell you that in the moments of challenge in my life, where the bills have been stacking up, and in my mind, I've got this running monologue of I'm disappointing my kids, I'm disappointing my family. I can't believe that my wife married me, wanting, as we all do, a better life, wanting us to create a better life, and I'm failing. I'm letting her down. We can't make basic ends meet right now. We are 2-3 months behind on every bill that we have. We are behind on our mortgage. Is this the life that she wanted? Is it, I'm thinking all of this negative stuff, right? And these are all permutations of imposter syndrome. Make no mistake about that. Imposter syndrome takes all sorts of shapes and forms, but what it ultimately is that negative voice that is undercutting. And I used to feel that, and what I would say is, okay, what can I control today? And if I was, as if the person who money was not a problem. We've been successful for longer than we've been unsuccessful. How would I deal with this situation? And by thinking in that way, I started seeing changes to my behavior that I could make, right down to even physical changes, like in my at the time, the house may be behind and everything's falling apart, but right within the small space of my office, can I control this environment and make it closely aligned to my as if? Can I make everything I see just immediately around me support exactly what it would be like were I already to be in that position? And you can engage your mind in this game and it'll really, really help you, because the doubt will remain. I'm not asking, and nor am I preaching some kind of magic solve to the doubt or the fear. But all you need to do is take 2 or 3 changes in that interview room, 2 or 3 changes to that resume based on this as if, 2 or 3 changes to the energy level that you have when you pick up that phone and you look to build a relationship or close a deal or close an offer. And those 1 or 2 little shifts like that, what happens is it changes something in the room. You used to get one certain kind of reaction, and now you've gotten a new one. You see a new level of buy-in come over someone. And that will go right into the depths of who you are, and it'll help make that new action habit. And habit, and along with these new reactions, will ultimately change that belief. But believe me, you cannot wait around for yourself to feel like you deserve that next role, okay? By the time you feel that, you should be 2, 3, 4 steps up. So I want you to stop worrying about belief and understand that in the eyes of the outside world, belief doesn't matter nearly as much as you do. You might feel terrified at being a little bit harder edged in that interview. You might feel terrified about putting out that number that you know or you're thinking is such a reach. But the outside world is not seeing your terror. They're not seeing the doubt. They're not seeing the shaky hands right beneath the table. All they register is the action. So all you need is the courage and the will to take the action, no matter how rife with errors it is. And that brings me to my last little piece of advice here. If imposter syndrome is really dragging you down, one of the most effective things I can counsel to you is to change the objective of what you're after there. So maybe you're going into that room not to present yourself as the best CIO for the role, in which case you would then be comparing and contrasting yourself versus every CIO that they're interviewing. Maybe that's not your job. Maybe your job is just to share 3 or 4 really amazing, well thought out stories from your career that support the deepest aspects, that demonstrate the deepest aspects of what you do. Maybe your goal in that room is simply to ask 30 to 40% more questions. Maybe your goal in that room is to not take the bait when someone challenges you or seemingly asks you a quote unquote insulting question, but you're going to assume positive intent and be kind about it. And when you answer it, switch what you're trying to accomplish there into the realm of personal goals. Goals that by meeting them or facing that challenge, it's going to make you a better presenter. It's going to close that gap between you and that imposter syndrome, the other side, you on the other side of that, right? So by changing the objective to personal stretch goals like that, you're going to put your mind away from outcome, away from fear, and towards something that you can actually make some headway on. And as you make headway on that, here's a great thing. As a byproduct, you're going to come across as a better fit. So just a couple of things to think about, a couple of ways to restructure this problem so that you've got more wiggle room, more of an avenue in order to operate. Just as a quick recap, remember, whatever frame you're looking for here, okay? Whatever you're trying to achieve, any more than your current frame today, your current circumstance today, that none of that defines you. All right? You are a creator of frames. You are not a frame, okay? You can let that go whenever you need to. Actions trump belief. Stop waiting around for belief to change. Read that imposter syndrome feeling as a sign that you are on the right track, that you are truly being forward-facing and aggressive in terms of what you want to do. That's how we need to develop our careers, aggressively. Change the objective, right? Take it away from, I'm trying to win, I'm trying to convince you, I'm trying to do this, and put it into the realm of, how can I grow? What can I do in that room that'll help me better present myself tomorrow, better tell my story tomorrow? You got this, okay? If you're learning alongside videos like this, if you are taking the time to challenge your presuppositions, your beliefs, and step out onto that high wire act that separates the wheat from the chaff, okay? If you are there, You got this. You can do it, okay? Don't let your mind get the better of you, okay? Do not let this thing get the better of you. This is meant to serve you. It's meant to be a loyal servant to you and your goals and your dreams. You are not meant to be wagged around by its insecurities. I hope that this has been helpful, guys. Do keep the questions coming. You guys continue to give me wonderful ideas for future videos and training and webinars. And if you haven't already, connect with me on LinkedIn. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube. Stay up to date with this advice, because I'm doing the best to give you the stuff that people are not talking about out there. So if that resonates with you, take some action right now. I believe in you guys. Have a great day.